Director General, a year since Trump took office, have you been more or less encouraged by him and his trade policy?
We're still trying to understand many of the U.S. concerns. I think they have expressed some of them quite clearly. I think the challenge now is less about concern and more about understanding what the solutions for those concerns could be. So we need to shift the conversation between one of expressing concerns to another one, which is let's find solutions, to these concerns. I think that's the major challenge for everybody at this point in time.
Is Trump the biggest risk to global trade because he's pulled out of multilateral trade agreements, preferring bilateral trade agreements, but he has yet to sign new ones? Is that a concern for you?
I think President Trump is not coming about in abstract. He is the result of sentiments in the electorate in the United States. You see that happening in Europe and in other economies as well. There is a strong portion of the population that feels left out. They feel that they have been left aside and they're not benefiting from the progress, economic progress that you see pretty much everywhere. That sentiment is the problem, because that is what driving leaders across the world to think more introspectively, looking more at the domestic situation instead of looking at the cooperative approaches, things that can become a better environment for growth. Instead of that, they are with more narrowly focused conversations on how do I solve the problem in my country? And sometimes by doing that, they create ripples which affect others in a negative way and everybody else as a whole.
So having said that, Director General, what are the prospects for trade? The last time we spoke to you, you talked about how protectionism is manageable. Do you feel that is still the case?
The numbers show that after 2008, so we're talking about 9 or almost 10 years, we have seen protectionism of a moderate stance. So we have about 5% of global trade that has been affected by restrictive measures that were introduced since the financial crisis. So the numbers are not that bad. My concern is more about the mood. So instead of a mood of trying to do business and trying to liberalize more, because trade is the oxygen of the economy. If you take that oxygen away, the economy is going to be crippled in a way that will affect everyone, rich and poor alike. And I think that's what we have to keep in mind. That's the key to the whole situation.
Not bad, but not good enough. The words of Uncle Korea.
That's pretty much.
Trade should be growing at double the rate that it is now, which is 3.5%.
We could be using trade to leverage growth, to get out of this situation faster. But the numbers show that protectionism so far has not been the major problem.
Given what we saw recently, I mean Brexit negotiations have not made any progress a year on. What's your take on it? Was there an underestimation?
It's not surprising. I remember just before the vote, I was several times interviewed by the press, and I said, look, it's the decision of the UK, of course, and it's a sovereign decision, but don't be misled with the notion that this is going to be easy. These trade deals are going to be complicated. They are complicated in general. They may last a long time. They may be quick. It depends. It depends on a case-by-case basis. But I have never seen a trade negotiation of this scope and order of magnitude that could happen in a blink of an eye. This is going to take time, and it doesn't surprise me that this is where they are at this point in time.
Before we let you go, TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP 11, will that materialize? Will we see a deal? Is it possible?
I think TPP 11 is the second best. I think the best would be to have TPP 12, of course. Why do I say that? Because regional deals like TPP and others, they help to create a good environment for liberalization, for more trade, for more cooperation among nations. And the multilateral system, the WTO, benefits from that. sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. So those negotiations, they reinforce each other. Liberalization is contagious. So if you see that happening with a group of countries, the tendency is that others will follow and that mood continues. So TPP 11, I hope it will come to fruition because it's better than TPP 0.